future, the current agricultural landscapes in Sri Lanka, the challenges facing in the agricultural sector, the vision for sustainable food and feed production in 2030 and beyond, and he focused areas for research and development. We all may aware that in Sri Lanka, out of 22 million population, nearly 17 population is in acute food insecurity. Not only that, nearly 20% of the children under the age of 5 is malnourished, while nearly 40% of people in between 16 to 60 years are obese. So this is not only in rural and estate sector, but it's also found in urban areas. Therefore, this actually indicates the balanced dietary pattern of our people. Therefore, we have to ensure food security as well as nutrient security by consistent supply of safe, nutritious food and sustainable production and consumption food of our nation. This not only mitigated malnutrition but also saved food security. So this is actually aligned with the SDG goals of zero hunger and responsible consumption and production. And we have to preserve our environment by protecting the ecosystem by safeguarding soil, water and biodiversity, and prevent environmental degradation through crop management, and resilient to climate change for sustainable production by using climate resilient crops and management to assure production. Sustainable food and feed system is very much important because it contributes economic prosperity. It empowers the rural livelihood and eradicate rural poverty and enhance the contribution of GDP by improving agro-based product. We all know our country is a net importing country. So now we have to shift our country from net importing country to self-sufficient level. For that, we have to ensure the national self-sufficiency in food production. Thereby, we can save foreign exchange which involve with importation. The agricultural research and development is highly important to ensure production of healthy, nutritious local food with international quality standards. This could be achieved by generating appropriate technology and disseminating that to farmers as well as all stakeholders. Thereby, we can ensure local food supply and export agro-based product. Development of new varieties and agronomic packages is very much important to increase the production and improve the quality. Optimize water usage using several micro-irrigation systems and minimize chemical inputs using several methods including biopesticides, biocontrol agents and natural enemies, and enhance nutrient management using integrated plant nutrient management system, and improve labor efficiency using mechanization, contribute to resource efficiency and reduce environmental impact. Not only that, developing integrated pest management strategies using physical barriers, traits and all the methods, IPM methods, and developing disease and pest resistant or tolerant varieties using by identifying the traits could support to manage the pest and diseases efficiently. Conservation and maintenance of genetic diversity is very much important for future crop improvement programs. And also conserve indigenous plant species is important for nutrition that are having nutritional and medicinal values. We all know there is a knowledge gap between farmer and researcher. So we have to make ways and means to transfer their knowledge, their knowledge that I have with the researchers to the farmers as well as other stakeholders. Thereby we can increase our overall agricultural productivity. So our country needs a consistent policy. We already submitted 2 policies. One is overarching agricultural policy, other one is sectoral policy for food and feed crops sector. So both were already submitted to the Parliament. However, we must have continuous policy studies, regular policy studies to do amendment whenever necessary. So we have to ensure quality agro product that meet international standards, and we have to explore new export market opportunities in order to enhance the country's competitiveness in the global market, thereby boosting economic growth by new venture. Now we will see the current situation of agricultural landscape. The agriculture sector contributes around 7 to 8% to GDP, and around 30% of the workforce is employed in the agricultural sector. However, the farm size is lesser than 1 hectare because the population has increased and it led to fragmentation of lands that become uneconomical. Because of the increase of population, there is increase in food demand. However, increasing demand for housing and infrastructure reduce the land availability for agriculture. We can see that younger generation is not interested in agriculture currently. They often migrate to urban areas, which leads to labor shortage in rural areas. So this leads to aging population in agricultural sector. Our major food crops contributing a substantial share to food security. Except last 2 years, we have almost self-sufficient in rice production. We have reached self-sufficiency in rice in 2011 and continued up to 2020. And there is, because of some impose of sudden policies, we have somehow we have to forced to import some rice. But however, this year, I think we don't need to import any rice into our country. When we consider the vegetables, now we are not importing vegetables for our local consumption. Only small quantity is imported only for the hotel industries. When considering fruits, we are importing only the temperate fruits but not the tropical fruits. So Sri Lanka has a diverse agroclimatic zones. We have 46 agroclimatic zones, and we are having a diverse range of crops due to its various climatic nature that include rice, tea, rubber, coconut as well as spices. When we consider our food habit, it is changing with increasing per capita income. Currently, and it demands for no luxury food. So initially we were consumed more starchy foods. Then it shifted to high protein rich foods. And nowadays we can see that more population prefers fresh fruits and vegetables. This is the changing food habit we have observed currently. Access to local and international market is a challenge for smallholders because smallholding cultivation is high cost of production and transportation also very high. And this cultivation is difficult to reach these quality standards, therefore the price is fluctuating when they sell their produce. The government initiatives and policies are aiming to modernize agriculture, increase value addition, and promote sustainable practices for a resilient future. You might have heard that His Excellency President is proposing a agrotech university comprising all these technical research institutes. So this is one of the government initiative currently is proposing. We have facing several challenges in agriculture, mainly land, water, and limited resources and technologies. Thereby, we have to produce more with less. So, climate change impact is one of the major challenges in agriculture. Erratic weather patterns, including drought, flood, temperature rise, and changing rainfall patterns, it poses significant challenges to crop productivity as well as stability. Increase in population and urbanization lead to land conversion for housing and infrastructure, thus reducing the available arable land for farming. A majority of farms are smallholder operations with fragmented land, as I mentioned earlier. So they are limited access to modern technology and challenges in accessing market. Limited water resources and inadequate irrigation systems affect crop yields and sustainability. In addition, limited access to domestic and international markets coupled with volatile prices affects farmer income and overall economic growth. Increasing pest and disease pressures aggravated by changing climatic conditions have severe impact on crop health and yields. Lack of processing facilities and value-added products reduces the income potential of agricultural produce. As I mentioned earlier, the demographic changes resulting in an aging agricultural workforce. Therefore, the elder people depends on conventional farming methods and inadequate knowledge of modern practices that hinder the productivity and sustainability. We all know limited access to agricultural credit and financial services constrains investment in modern technologies and practices. Now we'll see our vision for sustainable food and feed in 2030 and beyond. Climate resilience is our major vision. We have to develop climate resilient crops and technologies as well as sustainable farming in order to achieve this task. Development of eco-friendly agriculture to quality assured soils and water resources is very important to conserve biodiversity. Implementing practices that minimize resource use, water pollution, and greenhouse gas emissions contribute to a cleaner environment, thus reduce the environment impact. Technology integration. This is very much important, and this could be achieved by harnessing advanced technologies such as precision agriculture, data analysis, big data analysis, in order to optimize resource utilization and productivity. In order to achieve the food and nutritional security, we have to ensure a consistent supply of safe and nutritional food for all Sri Lankans in order to eradicate hunger and malnutrition. We have to encourage the cultivation of a variety of nutritious crops and feed sources to improve dietary diversity and livestock health to achieve nutritional security. In addition, facilitating access to domestic and international markets, expanding international markets, enabling farmers to secure better prices for their products. Promoting awareness about sustainable practices among farmers and consumers, fostering a culture of responsible for food and feed production by agriculture, mass media users, etc. Community empowerment could be done by engaging local communities, farmers, and stakeholders in decision-making process to ensure the inclusivity of sustainable development. uplifting rural livelihoods and fostering economic growth by enhancing the productivity of agricultural systems and value chains is our vision to achieve economic prosperity. Now we will see the key focus areas for research and development. Climate resilient crop varieties. Development and introduction of crop varieties that can thrive in changing climatic conditions that include resistant or tolerant to drought, flood, heat, and salinity, etc. To achieve sustainable farming practices, we have to promote agroecological practices such as organic farming, conservation tillage, and crop rotation to enhance soil health, water efficiency, and biodiversity. Research strategies could be developed for efficient nutrient management such as integrated plant nutrient system, cover cropping, and soil conservation to improve soil fertility and reduce the soil degradation in order to maintain and manage the nutrient as well as soil health. Develop innovative irrigation techniques, water saving technologies, and drought tolerant crops would support to ensure efficient water utilization in agriculture. Technology integration. Leverage precision agriculture tools, IoT devices, artificial intelligence, and data analytics to optimize resource allocation, improve crop monitoring, and enhance productivity. Value chain enhancement. We know nowadays the theme is farm to fork. So we have to focus on pre and post harvest handling, storage and processing, and value addition to reduce losses, increase product shelf life, and enhance market value. Climate smart livestock management. This is research sustainable livestock practices is very much important, including feed optimization, animal health management, and waste reduction to improve feed efficiency and reduce environmental impact. We have to focus on biodiversity-friendly agriculture. For that, we have to develop strategies to promote, to conserve biodiversity through intercropping, agroforestry, and integrating native plants to support ecosystem balances. Market access and trade opportunities could be touched through research on market demand, trade policies, and quality standards to support farmers' access to domestic and international markets. We have to focus on farmer training and extension services to disseminate research findings and promote the adoption of sustainable practices. Youth should be empowered by using mechanization and modern marketing system, and agro-tourism should be promoted to ensure farming experience for urban peoples and generate additional income for rural people. And we have to support the employment to ensure farmer income, and empowerment of rural women is vital to ensure household food security and income. In addition to that, we have to upgrade legislative procedures that align with international treaties and agreements in order to harmonize their level at international standards. So I have to mention here legislative procedure aligned with international treaties, because we know these days our country now exporting vegetables and fruits mainly to Middle East, Maldives as well as EU countries. But however, we are frequently getting non-compliance report from EU countries mainly on leafy vegetables. Therefore, we have to have a good legislative procedure, otherwise that EU country will ban our exportation. Now we will look into the policy interventions. So we have to promote the crop productivity. For that, we have to have policies to support the development of new technology and dissemination, facilitation and technical support to access improved seeds and practices, and establish demonstration productivity enhancing techniques in farms. The other area policy have to interfere in self-sufficiency in major food crops. So for that we have to develop targeted policies to achieve self-sufficiency in major crops. To achieve that, we have to provide facilitation for farmers to adopt improved agronomic technologies. We all know currently we are requiring nearly 50,000 metric tons of dry chilies. Out of that, we are only producing nearly 2,000 tons. So we are importing nearly 48,000 of tons of dry chilies from our neighboring countries. So, but in our areas, in Sri Lanka, including that northern region, we have good climatic conditions to produce chili for the dry chili production. So we have to implement some policies in order to in order to produce our local dry chili production. Not only that, we are importing nearly 260,000 tons of big onion annually. But you see, in our northern region as well as Eastern Province and some other areas in other countries, we have a good potential to produce our small onion in our country. So we have to expand our small onion cultivation. Thereby we are reducing gradually our big onion imports. So there are two important major crops I want to, because in this northern region, I would like to emphasize these two crops. With all of your support, I think we can have reached the self-sufficient in both of these crops. So export promotion. We have to ensure compliance with international quality standards and certifications, and we have to establish trade agreements and partnerships to expand export opportunities and provide export-related initiatives and support for agribusiness, mainly SMEs. You all know that Department of Agriculture has initiated Sri Lanka SL-GAP. So the good agricultural programs now, I think that our Dean Faculty of Agriculture also mentioned that there were 10,000 farmers, their clusters are using that vegetable production using Sri Lankan GAP. And also this should be, because in the SL GAP, that good agriculture practices is monitored by, there is a unit in our Department of Agriculture that is from the farm up to the export point. At the same time, that SL GAP has now expanded to accepted and implemented by the Department of Export Agriculture, mainly for the cinnamon exportation. Production of animal feed ingredients. For that, we have to encourage the cultivation of feed crops to reduce reliance on imports, and we have to offer incentives for research and development of locally sourced feed ingredients and facilitate access to credit and resources for farmers engaging in feed crop cultivation. You all may be aware that recently the government has action to announce this our fodder cultivation, or that pastures or that grasses to as agricultural crops through this agrarian act to cultivate in the abandoned paddy lands. Not only that, our government is now taking requesting that Department of Animal Production and Health to develop their own feed crops instead of relying on importation. Recently there was a proposal came to import one of the high nutritious animal grasses to import into our country for dairy farming, but however the Biodiversity Secretariat is refusing to give permission because they are invasive in nature. So with all the support of universities as well as the Department of Animal Health and Production, we have to develop our own feed sources for dairy farming. Farm mechanization. For that, to expand the farm mechanization and introducing it, we must need appropriate policy for make the affordable and accessible way to the farming community, and we have to offer training and technical assistance for the efficient use of mechanization. For that, we are proposing machinery hubs in either all districts or in the all agrarian service centers. This is the proposal we have made to taking as a policy decision to introduce the farm mechanization to make available to all farmers. And we have to reduce pesticide reliance. We have to expand that use of integrated pest management, and it should become as a policy. And also we have to provide training and extension to educate farmers on sustainable pest management. And if possible, we have to offer incentives for adopting IPM practices, mainly biopesticides, because earlier we do not have any registration or procedure. Now we had the Register of Pesticides have already developed on regulations to register biopesticides. So this photograph shows one of that biocontrol agent developed by one of our scientists at OD to control that whitefly in coconut. So in one event, it was handed over to the Coconut Research Institute by our Minister of Agriculture. Land consolidation and plot consolidation is very important to use mechanization to increase productivity. But however, because of this small cluster of farming, it is very important. So we have to need policies for voluntary land consolidation as well as for the registration procedure. So we have to provide legal and administrative support to streamline the land consolidation process. Otherwise, it is very difficult to increase the agricultural productivity. Crop diversity and specialization. We have to encourage crop diversification to enhance resilience against market fluctuations and climatic impacts. Recently, we have come into an agreement that we are going to, from the next year, we are going to increase, we are going to utilize some of the paddy lands for mainly for crop maize as well as soya bean cultivation. Because we know that for this animal, especially poultry industry, they need 500,000 metric tons of maize, and currently in the normal years we are producing nearly 350,000, and annually we are importing nearly 150,000 of tons. So because if we take that area, in Maha season it is going up to 110,000 hectare, but in Yala season only 18 to 20,000 hectare. So during Yala season, where the land is not very productive, the government is now proposing to utilize that for the maize cultivation. Thereby we can increase our maize production, so we can reduce the importation of maize into the country. Thereby we can save the foreign exchange involved with the importation of maize. So value chain development is another important area where policy intervention is required. We have to promote the establishment of agro-processing industries and value-added products, and we have to facilitate linkages between farmers, processors and markets to improve the value chain efficiency, and financial support and technical assistance is required for agro-processing ventures. When we consider the international collaborations, fostering knowledge exchange and resource sharing is important to address global agricultural challenges, and facilitates the sharing of knowledge, resources and best practices by connecting diverse expertise is support to address complex agricultural issues on a global scale. Therefore, Sri Lanka should enhance its standing in the global agricultural landscape by leveraging its unique agroclimatic diversity, fostering research-driven innovation, and actively participating in international collaborations. Thus, it can contribute valuable insights and solutions to global agricultural challenges. In a nutshell, I can summarize my presentation as agricultural research drives innovation, fostering the development of climate-resilient crops, sustainable practices and technology integration, ensures a productive and environmentally conscious agricultural sector that is vital for Sri Lanka's sustainable development. By addressing challenges like climate change, population growth and resource scarcity, agricultural research strengthens food security and enhances rural livelihoods. Thus, it contributes to economic growth through increased productivity and market competitiveness. Embracing international collaboration and knowledge sharing amplifies Sri Lanka's presence on the global agricultural stage, allowing the nation to contribute to solutions for shared challenges and benefit from diverse perspectives. Agricultural research empowers farmers with knowledge, modern techniques, and cutting-edge tools, enabling them to adapt to changing conditions, make informed decisions, and drive the nation's agricultural progress well into the future. Therefore, innovation and sustainability, food security and economic growth, global engagement and collaboration, and empowerment and future preparedness is vital for Sri Lanka's sustainable development. Thank you.
Dr. S. Moganatha, Professor K. Kandasamy, former Computer Authority, University of Jaffna. Professor Mrs. S. Sivachandre, Dean Faculty of Professor G. Mingunda, former Dean Faculty of Agriculture, Department of Agricultural Biology. Year 2023 at the Dean Faculty of Agriculture, Professor S. Vasandaruba. Keynote speaker M. Aida. Convener ICDA. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are now joined by our dignitaries on the head chair, commence the event. Now I take a great pleasure in inviting S.J. Ansagesari to present the welcome address.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am in front of all conferences in person. Therefore, Acting Vice Chancellor Professor Kannadasan, he has come instead of our VC. Therefore, we welcome you, sir, to precede our project, and we happily welcome you, sir, to this. And then Director General of Agriculture, Ms. Maladi, and we are highly honored by you, Dynamic Director General of Agriculture. We welcome you, madam. And Faculty of Agriculture, who is chair of this conference, Joint Secretary to the ICDA to this important event. Siviyoganathan and Dean Vavania. And we are here to welcome all the deans of faculties, professors and non-academic staff and other staff of this unit.
ICDA 2023 at the Dean Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jaffna. Mr. is Sivanishan, addition.